Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Engler Journey podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of being with someone who goes behind the scenes to tell the stories in the Engler program, Jillian Buell, and it's so nice to have you here today.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about your story because we know how important it is to tell stories, especially here in the Engler program. So I want to learn more about your background and how you learned about UNL and the Engler program.
Yeah, so when I was a freshman in high school, and I'm from Bassett, Nebraska originally, which if people don't know about it, it is a small town in like north central Nebraska. When I was a freshman, my ag teacher approached our class about something called Launch, which is kind of a high school extension that Engler does to kind of get students to learn about business ideation, how to plan a business, and then launch a business through different little seminars and things like that. So my ag teacher, Ann Dvorak, approached me and some of my friends about that, and we thought it would be a cool experience. Then we went to the different little seminar things that they had, brainstormed, we went through a ton of different ideas, and eventually landed on the Go Gelato. The idea kind of came from Jay and Nelson, who is my cousin, and we both went to high school together. We were on our leadership team for FFA, and we saw like a gelato stand there, and we're like, well, Bassett doesn't really have like an ice cream shop or gelato, like anything like that, so we thought it could serve a need for events and other things like that. We started that business and made and sold gelato out of our school for events, shipped it out to people for the rest of our high school career, and then it passed down to my sister and some other girls their age. A big thing about On the Go Gelato was female empowerment and just letting girls know that whatever they dream up and whatever they want to do, they can accomplish that. So we were able to pass that business on to them, and now it's still going to this day, this many years later, and my youngest sister, Ireland, is now part of that business, so yeah.
Yeah, so kind of in Bassett in your high school, kind of creating this environment for entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said you're from Bassett, right?
Yes.
So Paul Engler, he was also from Bassett.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool connection to have because I grew up going to, the story of Paul buying the cattle from the Bassett Livestock Auction. I grew up going there. I come from a family of ranchers. Grew up going to like Bassett Livestock Auction. My grandpa knew Paul. And just being able to kind of hear that story and connect that back to my hometown is really inspiring for me, and knowing that even people from my area have found so much success in entrepreneurship and how much Paul has given back to me, my family, with my sister and my cousin both being positively affected by Engler, and just everything he's given back to our program is really inspiring to know that he came from where I came from, so yeah.
Yeah, and what are some of those values that you bring with you from coming from a small community or coming from a ranch family?
I feel like people are really important when it comes to really anything you do in life. Any path you take, you don't take it alone, whether that's through even just going through school and you need your support system behind you, whether it's friends, whether it's people you're with in class, your family supporting you through everything. In businesses, you need support from others, whether that's for networking, your customer base, anything like that. And then from my perspective, career-wise, in advertising and social media and everything, I think people are really important, and just creating relationships. When I am planning to do a story or host for Engler, I feel like getting the background of people is really important, so that's kind of a value of like relationship building that I hold. I also think one of my biggest values is just hard work and drive and pushing myself to be the best possible version of myself, whether that's simply in school or in my work or just being able to like take care of myself and like prioritize my well-being. I feel like that's really important.
Yes, and the Engler program is full of hard workers, especially your sister and your cousin, which you mentioned earlier. What has that been like, being with your cousin and your sister here in college and in Engler?
It's been really great. Not a lot of people from my high school went to UNL, so being able to have people that I've known my entire life to support me and be around me throughout college has been super important, and we've all grown together so much, and we're definitely not like the same people that we were in high school anymore. We've grown in so many different ways. And with Jaya, she inspires me so much with everything that she's doing and is one of my biggest supporters. And with my sister, when she took the 201 class, we did Earth Glow lip care together, which isn't still going right now just because we got a little busy with different things, but we started homemade lip balm business with completely vegan ingredients, so anybody could use it. It could hit any market. The packaging was aluminum, so all of it was 100% recyclable. So working on that business with her was really cool, and we got to provide little giveaway items for UPC event that we do. We're both a part of the University Program Council, so being able to support an event for another involvement I'm passionate about and just work with her on that was really fun to do.
Yeah, and I know you said your major is advertising and public relations. So what has creating some of these businesses meant to you learning more about advertising and public relations? Because I know you said hitting different markets with vegan lip balm.
Something that I figured out throughout being a part of my educational career and Engler and everything is kind of how much background work everything takes and just looking for the bigger picture. In advertising, I'm not just, if I'm looking like product-wise or organization-wise, as in with Engler, I'm not just thinking, this is Engler, here's what to know about it, like very simple putting that forward, or this is a product, you should buy it. There's so much background that goes into it. So an example I'll give is like in Yacht when I worked there, it's the ad agency that you can do. I did that for my capstone. Through the College of Journalism. Through that opportunity, I got to learn so much about how much background research you can do to hit a target audience. For an example, I worked with a personality testing company, and when I was doing background research on that, they challenged me to ask a lot of questions to get to like a research question to form this big social media plan that we had. So my question was, why do people dive in to personality tests? Like if you have like your Enneagram, like people really care about Enneagrams and like use it in their everyday life. So why is that? And it's kind of the community building aspect, whether it's like that, like Clifton Strengths, like people find community within other people who care about the results of the test and also people who have similar results. So from that, I did a lot of research on community building in storytelling and social media planning and stuff like that. So it kind of led me to create a whole social media like marketing plan based on like building a community with the posting that we're doing. And that's kind of applied to everything I've done since with communication and stuff is what is the purpose, what is the background, like how can we look at this in a bigger lens to truly highlight Engler or a business or a product, like how can we highlight this the most effectively for both the business purposes, organization purposes, and the target audience.
By being in the Engler program, you've been able to learn more about business and social media and communications, which also helps you in your career and in your major, right? Yeah. So I kind of want to move into the communication side here in the Engler program.
Yeah.
What has that experience been like for you?
So my sophomore year of college, Haley reached out to me and said, hey, I think you would be a good fit. We have some openings on the comm team. You should apply. And at the time, I was kind of really trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my career. I kind of had some ideas. I liked what I was doing in school, but I wanted to be able to narrow in. And Engler has been a big part of my life and really shaped me into the individual that I am. So I thought it would be a cool way to give back because I'm a very involved person on campus. I wasn't sure if like a leadership team was something that was for me, but I thought comm team would be really great. So I started off behind Emma Hofschneider. She ran the social media before I did. She kind of let me learn the ropes for the second half of the semester, the second semester of my sophomore year, helped me with starting off with photography because I didn't have a lot of experience with that, copywriting. We have very specific ways of writing captions in Engler and just the ropes with that. So kind of following her lead, I kind of took the reins of the social media starting that summer, and then I've been a part of it ever since then. It's been really awesome to be a part of this team, being that it has totally changed my perspective of what it means to be working in social media, be working in advertising. I can remember Haley giving us this book about storytelling and what it means to be a storyteller in terms of advertising and everything, and every business has a story, every person has a story. So being able to be a part of telling the story of Paul, the story of the Engler program, the story of our students, even if you are a student and you don't know me, I do know you because I work to highlight you. I look at your business. I do all of that stuff to share the stories of our entrepreneurs and let everyone know what cool things that they're doing with their businesses. So I think that it's just been really impactful to become a storyteller. We've really developed our strategy, especially this year, to hit tons of different aspects of Engler and our students and different things, and being able to make the social media what it is now. I'm really proud of that, and I'm really proud to highlight our program and our students in such a cool and kind of different way than a lot of other on-campus programs might do it.
Yeah, and you really get to impact like future students coming too, because otherwise if no one was doing the social media, they wouldn't see these businesses and the cool things that we're doing in the Engler program.
Yeah, it's really cool to kind of highlight what people are doing, whether it's a business that's been running for a few years through the Engler program, or even with like our 201 students who are launching off their businesses, or people that are just starting out. We really try to look at what people are accomplishing and what people are doing and making sure that they're highlighted on social media, and know that we're rooting for them on the comm team.
Yeah, and what have been some of your favorite memories from the comm team, like events or highlighting certain events?
I absolutely love just kind of poking around at events and taking pictures and capturing all of those moments with people. I think it's a really cool perspective to be at Fireside, for an example. A lot of times I'm not like, I'll hop into a conversation at Fireside, but I'm not sitting down doing the activities. I get to see it from a bigger lens and listen in, and all these different conversations, see like what cool things our coaches that we find for Fireside are instilling into our members, questions asked, things like that, and then use the camera to capture those moments, whether it's somebody writing down like something impactful in their notebook, people smiling, people talking together, just being able to look around for like those moments that I can capture and then tell a story about when I write my caption. And I'm always walking around, writing notes on my notes app on my phone as events are happening, and then all of that goes into our social media posting and the captions I write and everything.
Yeah, and what is some of the biggest advice you'd give to students that want to get involved in communications?
I think just the biggest thing with communications is learning how to be a good listener. Being able to tell a story is a skill that, yeah, you have to learn to like write things down and tell people about it, but to gain that story and to learn about other people, you have to be able to listen to not even just what people are saying. For example, at 8:40, I always take notes on what the speaker says so we can share those insights out to our audience on social media, but also listening to the people around you, really gather in like the relationships that are being built, the stories that are being made right in front of you. Learning how to be a good listener is so important in learning how to be a good communicator and learning how to like advertise or like be in social media. And also just don't let yourself feel like you're limited by your own creativity. I feel like sometimes you can get really stuck in doing maybe the same thing. You feel like, well, I'm not that. For example, for me, I don't feel like I'm a great graphic designer. Like that's not one of my strengths, but I feel like being able to be pushed in that direction and try things out and find what works for you. Just don't be limited by your own expectations of yourself and your own, what you perceive your abilities to be as. You can always grow in so many different areas. Just take that all into learning how to be a good communicator and even into advertising if you're interested in that.
Yeah, so it's kind of similar to entrepreneurship, just starting and getting that practice to get better as you go along.
Yeah, and taking failure as an opportunity to grow. We talk about that a lot in Engler, but I feel like that's super important because I can name, whether it's because I've done a lot of different things here and there with advertising and marketing and stuff, there's projects that I think back to, I'm like, I could have definitely like done that differently and done that better, but looking at it with a point of regret, is it really benefiting you? But looking at it as, in my next project, I'm going to do this better, or I'm going to try this out, so it can be more effective or more engaging for people.
Yeah. And I also wanted to ask you, as just an Engler member, what have been some of your favorite memories or favorite moments, events, anything like that?
I really loved both 101 and 201. I think it was called something else when I took it because it's been a while, but coming into college, kind of like I said before, I didn't know a whole lot of people. Only a couple kids from my high school went here. I kind of went in totally blind, and being able to go into 101, my cohort was really a big part of me feeling comfortable on campus right away. My cohort leader, Shaylee, was really awesome and really brought me out of my shell. I'm definitely kind of a more shy person at first. I'm kind of somebody who I'll get to know you and then I'm more apt to like be able to talk and have a conversation, but especially freshman year of college, I was really shy. So being able to have that cohort aspect of 201 was really important. And yeah, Cade Weezy, Paul Vanderwall, Casey Deathless, thank you to you three because I felt really comfortable in that space. And then moving into 201, we decided to do our business together because we all had become pretty good friends and thought it would be a cool opportunity. So we did an embroidery business together, which didn't move on past that class, but now I embroider. I do kind of a embroidery side gig where I embroider stuff for people all the time, for my coworkers at the restaurant I work at, and just a personal stuff. So learned so many skills and gained a lot of experiences through that. So I felt like that was really impactful. And then also just being on the comm team, being able to bring people in like you and Jesse has been really cool. And then Liz and I have been on the comm team together the same amount of time. So just being able to grow together and work together has been some of my favorite memories. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you said embroidery. I didn't even know that. Is that your main side gig that you do?
Yeah, I am kind of a big side gig person when it comes to just random stuff. So, yeah, we started Clover Customs for my 201 class, and I learned a lot on how to embroider and stuff. So I did that all through Innovation Campus, and one day one of the people that worked there was like, hey, you're in here all the time. Would you want to teach a few classes on how to do this? Because it's basically just knowing how to use the Adobe suite and designing things on graphic or just learning how to use Illustrator. That's how you use that embroidery machine, because you just import the file and it does it for you. So I worked at Innovation Campus for a year teaching embroidery classes and just doing some stuff for them. So that was my first kind of internship in college and kind of a little side job that I did. But yeah, now I'd like to do it more, but I do it from time to time. For example, for game day season, I work at Gate 25 in the Haymarket. I make clothes for my coworkers so we can all have cute clothes to go into game day season with. I've made little shirts for myself. I've done individual projects for people. That's just kind of a little side thing that I do for people if they want me to. It's not super serious.
So, I mean, that's something that Engler members should think about too, that even if their business doesn't continue, you can still use that skill in some way.
Yeah, those skills are still transferable, and if you learn something like that and it's something fun for you to do. Another example is I'm really interested in makeup, and I'll do makeup for people on occasion. I've done prom makeup, wedding makeup before, just people's makeup for different things in general. So if you have these little skills, you could possibly use it for a business. Going the side gig route is also a really fun way to turn your hobbies into something fun like that, whether it's, for me, makeup and embroidery. I can make a little money off of every so often, but just keeping it fun for yourself and still having time to do whatever else that you're doing.
Yeah, so you get to use your creativity in other ways than just the communications team.
Yeah, I would consider myself a pretty creative person, and I get a lot of joy out of being creative or consuming creativity, I guess, through music and different things like that. So I think just finding something that you're passionate about, or an aspect of your life that brings you joy, and just finding different ways to apply that in your life is a really great way to take care of yourself and take care of your mental health in that way and keep yourself going, I guess.
Yeah, and I also know that you're very involved here on campus in multiple different activities and organizations. Could you talk about those activities and why they have been important to you?
Yeah, so one of my main involvements through college has been with the University Program Council. That is an organization that we get an allocation of student fees to bring events to campus. So we bring educational, diversity education, entertaining events for the student body to experience, to give them experiences that they wouldn't have otherwise. We've done concerts before. We have an upcoming concert this spring, JPEG Mafia. We also do different little events. Some of the more popular ones are like Stuff a Plush. We brought Caleb Heron, who's an internet comedian this year. Tons of events, and I've been a part of that since I was a freshman in college. It was one of my first involvements, and it's been extremely impactful to me. Learning different skills. I was the marketing chair for our exec board for a year, and then I did internal vice president for a year, and just learning different skills, whether that was a little bit of graphic design stuff, poster design, like stuff for the more physical marketing with marketing chair, and then internal vice president. I did a lot of the surveys and synthesizing survey data and coming up with ways to like improve UPC or like finding the data that would lead us to know, oh, we could do better in this area, or we're doing really well in this area. How can we continue to do that? I've also been a part of NHRI since like the end of my freshman year of high school. I was matched with my mentee, Chloe, who goes to Lincoln East. With NHRI, you're matched with a student in the LPS school system area, and you get to teach them leadership skills, just talk about relationship building, talk about goal setting, and kind of create this wave of generative leadership. Being able to be a mentor for Chloe has been a really formative part of my college career. I've really enjoyed doing that as well.
Yeah, so you've been very involved here on campus, and reflecting back on your college career, what have been some of those challenges that you've had that some people may not see, the behind the scenes?
I think in terms of challenges, and just kind of like if I were to give a piece of advice to a freshman starting in college, whether you're from a small town like me or just in general, don't get so caught up in your expectations, because I feel like when I started college, I was ready to move to a bigger city. I was so excited to just be somewhere else and become the best possible version of myself per se, but you never know what's going to be thrown your way, what obstacles are going to come at you, and if you have all these set expectations for yourself, sometimes you'll find yourself being disappointed, like, oh, I'm not doing this the way that I thought I would, or why isn't everything going the way I planned? And I think at the end of the day, it's not supposed to, and just being able to allow yourself to kind of ride the waves through your college career, take the obstacles as they come, and just know that you are working to the best version of yourself, and that may not be in the path that you planned, and things might not go the way that you planned, but just allowing yourself to kind of experience everything college has to offer, and you will find your way to who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I mean, that's great advice, because just starting out, you're worried about where your path is going to lead, but opportunities will always open up as you just keep working through college.
Yeah, and they'll be in places you never expected, and I think that, like, as somebody who's really involved, being able to look out at campus, there's so many different things that you can be involved in, and just maybe kind of thinking outside of your comfort zone and thinking like, what would be something I'm kind of interested in, and being able to jump in and start those things. Even if you don't continue with them, you could start doing a club or trying something out and finding out that that's not for you. That's okay. You can try everything and then figure out what you're really passionate about and really hone in on that. I feel like I've been really positively impacted by being involved in different things, from like here on East Campus, but also my city campus involvement. It's given me a really well-rounded look of campus. So just if you're starting college, or if you're towards the beginning of your college career and you're looking to kind of find something, just try everything and then hone in on what you're truly passionate about.
Yes, and talking about the Engler program again, what would you say is your favorite pillar or your favorite value from the Engler program?
A lot of times, I remember when I was originally filling out the Engler scholarship and everything, I always said grit, because hard work has always been a really good value of mine. And I think that is still really important to me, but I also find myself leaning more towards passion as my college career goes on, and now that I'm coming towards the end of my college career and going into like my regular, whatever my adult life will be, I think that passion backs kind of everything. From you work hard for things that you're passionate about, whether it's people you're passionate about, your values, your family, whatever you're passionate about. That's kind of the background to everything. I know that my family is something that really backs my passion, because I'm an oldest sibling, so I want to be setting a good example for my younger siblings and being a good role model and also being there for them. So my passion for my family carries me through a lot of things, and also my passion for storytelling really goes into my grit and my drive towards being part of the communications team, or just my passion in a lot of different things. I feel like passion is really the root of who we are and what we will become.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. I mean, a lot of these members in the Engler program, it's all about their passion, the fire in the belly.
Yes.
Yeah, that motivates us all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my last question I want to ask you is, 20 years from now, what will you be most grateful for being in the Engler program?
I think 20 years from now, when I look back at my time in Engler, I think when I look back at the program 20 years from now, what I'll be most grateful for and most proud of is being a part of something that positively affects so many people, whether that's the entrepreneurs that come out of this program, even if you don't start a business from this program, or like the customers that are impacted by the products or services that they receive from Engler students. Just the ripple effect of what Engler provides for Nebraska, and then beyond, if people like move out of state, the ripple effect that Paul started when he gave money to be able to start this program, and through Tom and Dave and like the whole staff, Brennan, Haley, Hallie, Michelle, like the ripple effect that they contribute to, and then is carried throughout the students. And as you graduate and move on, whether it's businesses or whether it's taking what you've learned from Engler and sharing it with others, just being able to bear witness to the positive effects that Engler has and will have. I guarantee that in 20 years there will be so many businesses that can say, I started in Engler, or this business started in Engler. I think that in 20 years we'll really be able to see the impact and the generativity that Engler has provided to so many people, and will be really excited and proud to say that I was a part of that.
Yeah, and that's a really good way of saying it, the ripple effect that
Yes.
the Engler program has created.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here today, Jillian. I love learning more about your Engler journey, and I've loved my time working with you on the communications team.
Of course, I've loved working with you too. Thank you for having me on.